This is Perp, back with another video. Just got done watching Cruel Summer, Season 1, Episode 6. I have my issues with this episode, but I definitely got what I wanted out of this episode at the same time. And I'll kind of go through that as I go through this review. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at PerpMinded420, and let's get right into it because there's definitely a lot to talk about within this episode. There's a lot with Jeanette's character as well that really doesn't help her case at all still, but there are some interesting things to move the plot forward. There's no Kate this episode. This is mostly just Jeanette centric episode with other people, other characters surrounding her. You know, we start off with this anniversary, and that becomes the overall theme, kind of, that this stuff is happening on the anniversary of Jeanette's mother and father's wedding and them being together, so that they kind of make this a tradition of pretty much celebrating that every year. But it continuously gets drastically different every year, and to the point where it's not even a thing. Hopping over to Depressing 95, Jeanette gets a knock at the door from her lawyer saying, yo, there's this chick out there named Tanal Peterson. She has some dirt on Jeanette that could kind of mess up her case going forward. Now let's get to Tanal Peterson's mother, or not biological mother, Mrs. Peterson. She is the definition of a MILF. I don't even think you would consider her a MILF. She's just a mother looking for, just some type of attention. I'm just going to say that the cleanest way possible, but she's a complete thirst trap. She's probably one of the original thirst traps. I don't know. It's just she tries to flirt with Martin at the mall, at the store that Jeanette and Mallory are pretty much blatantly stealing from, which, tells you right there Jeanette's character has changed. She's going from stealing, kind of changing her personality, pushing her friends away. Which leads me to the dumbest scene in this whole entire episode. One of the dumbest scenes of this episode is you have Vincent, I'm pretty sure that's his name, come out of the store with a CD in his hand, and the alarm goes off, and nobody sits there and says, hey, let's just all run. No. Jeanette gets the bright idea, you guys take off, I'll take the blame for it. That was just a stupid scene altogether. They could have all ran, because I'm pretty sure the security guard he walked up to them. I don't know. I gotta go watch that again probably, but I'm pretty sure the security guy just walked up to them. They could have definitely got away from that whole entire situation, but it led Jeanette to get into the, office where they hold the kids until their parents show up and whatnot with Jamie. And this is where I guess they first start to kind of connect and really start to form a bond. Meanwhile, you have Sydney, that's Jeanette's mother, being harassed, getting these phone calls, talking all this trash about her, and this is really starting to get to her, which leads her to start to kind of investigate on her own and figure out, is Jeanette lying? And she finds this key, and this kind of opens the door for just everything in this show, as far as I feel like how everything's going to kind of fall into place, and it's not really going to look good for Jeanette at the end of it. That's just me. So we finally get a scene of exactly what happened and why Greg and Cindy kind of parted ways, and Greg went with Angela. What really kind of broke these two apart is just she sees that Jeanette is lying, and obviously that being Daddy's little girl, you know, Greg as his father, always defending his daughter. And he makes mention of that, if you remember what he was talking to Jeanette in the previous episode about, like, me always being on your side has cost me my job, my relationships, and therefore, and yada yada yada. So I like that we got that. You know, that was probably the highlight of this episode, because there was no Kate. There was no Kate in this, so it was kind of, if you would have took that whole element out of this episode, you know, the stuff with Jeanette's parents, then this would have been a really lackluster episode. But that really kind of held the episode strong, even though there was definitely some issues I didn't really like. For example, Jeanette's character in 95. I just still don't like her character at all. But I feel bad for Sydney, because she's starting to see exactly what type of character Jeanette is, and I really like that whole aspect of this episode. We also get a lot more of the fallout between, you know, Jeanette and Vincent, and how that kind of fell apart, and how she was the only one that kind of knew his secret of him being gay. Now we finally get this scene of where Jeanette was kind of putting this off and making sure nobody really finds this out, because this is really weird. Jeanette is a straight weirdo, man. I keep saying this, and just, I don't know, it's just, something's not right with her. She has a key to this dude Martin's house, and just tries to go in there, just chill, almost gets caught. And at the same time, you know, we go back into, you know, 94, where they're watching this stuff on the news about Mrs. Peterson on the news, and she's completely straight up capping out her ass, saying like just throwing Martin under the bus, acting like she wasn't throwing herself onto him. But Jeanette knows the truth, and she almost lets this slip, and this creates some type of conflict between her and to Niles, and that's probably why she's trying to kind of mess up her case currently now in 95. So Jeanette is just kind of just looking for some type of just outlet, or just somebody to talk to at this point. Reaches out to her brother. They have like this brother-sister moment. Even her dad tries to reach out and tries to fix things between her and Jeanette, because she's definitely starting to come around. Like, that old Jeanette is still in there somewhere, which I hope we see more of, but it doesn't seem like we're going to get that, because Jeanette has completely changed, I think, for the worst. But she's able to get Mrs. Peterson off her back, because she blackmails her, like saying, like, I know what you did. I know what you're talking about with Martin that night. So if you tell on me, I'm gonna tell on you. So I don't know how that's gonna play out. I don't know how long, you know, Jeanette's father is going to be on her side, take her side. That's going to be interesting, man. So we get another dope scene here at the bar that Angela works at, and you have Sydney pop up on her, and pretty much they're just kind of just having a conversation. They're not two bitter people going at each other negatively. They're pretty much just talking it out and handling things like adults, which I can really appreciate. Even though I don't like Angela's character, you know, after this episode, I just really don't like her character. That's just me personally. But you really see the fallout of the relationship between Sydney and Greg, and how Greg really didn't really understand her, or understand her aspirations or what she wanted to do in life, and she really feels alone. It was really deep, man. Everything with those two characters were A1 in this episode for me. So overall, it was an okay episode for me. The episode ends with Sydney finally going to see if that key works, and it works. And even Greg now knows that key works. So what does that mean going forward? What steps will Greg take now? And just How will he look at Jeanette now, knowing he knows the truth? Let me know your thoughts on this episode. What didn't you like? What did you like? Are you looking forward to next week's episode? Till next time, peace.